Hi everybody, welcome to this solution video to task 2 of the containment problems in Mr. Moose's object-oriented programming section for Cambridge 9618 Computer Science paper 4. We had a look in the first video to task 1 and we set up a guest class and a hotel class. So if you don't understand what is going on there, you really need to go and look at the solution videos to task 1. Okay, task 2 is going to ask us to design another hotel class method called checkout. This method will accept a guest name as a parameter, and if it can find the guest name in the guest array in the hotel's guest list, it will set the bill to 0 for that guest, and it will update the payment indicator to true, and it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. So this is how the checkout method, which is a hotel class method, works. So let's go into the hotel class and let's get busy coding the checkout method. Now we know that it takes a guest name as a parameter, so I'm just going to call that name. Now we're going to do a linear search here. So what I'm going to do a classic linear search. I'm going to set a variable called index to be -1. So choose a number that's not a valid array index. Then we're going to loop through this guest list. Remember, this is an array of guest objects. It's an array. So for I in range, len self dot underscore underscore guest list. That's the array that we're going to loop through. If self dot underscore underscore guest guest list I, so that's an individual element controlled by the for loop's control variable. If self.guessList I, now this is a guest object. This is a single guest object. So it's outside the hotel class and the variables are private. So we can't just say if self.guessList I.name. No, these are private and this is outside the hotel class. So they can't directly manipulate these variables. We need to go through our accessor methods. So if the name of this guest object is the same as this parameter, we're going to store the index of that object. Okay, so we're going to update index to be I. Classic linear search. So when the for loop has finished processing, one of two things will be true. Index still has a value of -1, which means we didn't find anything, or index has been updated with a valid array index. So let's test the value of index. If index doesn't equal -1, that means we found something. If we find something, we set the bill to 0, and we update the payment indicator to true, and we return false. So self.guestlist, remember, we are in self.underscore underscore, sorry. We're in the hotel class, and this is the array that we're messing with. So if in this array, at this index, which we've determined, we're going to update the bill. Okay, so this is a guest object. We are in the hotel class. The only way to change data in a guest object is to go through mutator methods. So we're going to update the bill set amount to be 0. We're also going to update the payment indicator to be true. So again, I'm just going to repeat it. This guest list is inside the hotel class. There it is. So we can just access that directly. We can see it. We're in the same class. We're going to jump to the index where we found the name. This is the object that has the same name as this parameter, according to this logic. And because this guest object is not a part of the hotel class, the only way we can update or access data in that object is to use guest class methods, because we're using private variables. So we're going to set, what did I call it? Set indicator. This is in the guest class. Set indicator to be true. And we also, the final thing we do is return true. Else, all we do is return false. It means we didn't find anything. The guest isn't in the array. So we're just going to, we're going to return false. So that is a design for the checkout method of the hotel class. So let's test it. We already have a hotel object constructed. We've got the current guest list. Let's check someone out for, how do we do this? We call this and it's going to return Boolean. Okay, so let's do checkout equals Hilton, because that's the object variable, dot checkout. We'll call the checkout method. And we're going to check out Alice Nguyen. Okay. And let's print the result. It should be true. This should be true. Let's run it and see what happens. Guest has no attribute set indicator. Is that true? Set indicator. We try again. True. So Alice has checked out. Okay, and just to make sure that that is what's happened, let's just take that for loop and we need to get the guest list again, don't we? Let's call this again. Just going to call it again. And I'm going to get Bill. And this Alice should be 0. So let's run that again. Guest has no attribute, get Bill. What have I done wrong here? Current guest list is Hilton.get list, print current get list. I.get Bill, line 87. What's wrong here? What have I done wrong? Current guest list equals Hilton.get guest list for I in range len. Current guest list. Guess it's, oh, there's no get bill. What did I call it? I said get amount, not bill. Get amount. That is a guest class method. That's a guest class method. And this is an individual guest object. Okay? So let's run that again. So these are the people that checked in. We just checked out Alice. So now when we look at the amounts still due, Alice doesn't have to pay anything. Okay? So that is a solution to task